6 years ago, I stood at the Battle of Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, where our country's fate was decided by dedication and valor. That day, I shared with you my journey of walking away from the Democratic Party, and today, I'm going to share that again with you. In this video, we'll move through the battlefield together. We will move from the Confederate side, which is on Seminary Ridge on the left, all the way over to Seminary Ridge, which is the Union, on the right. You see what I did there? I once stood firmly on the left, thinking that that was right, but it wasn't. And just like Seminary Ridge, where the Confederates were, that position crumbled, just like my belief system in the Democrat Party crumbled as well. For me, it was 9/11. It was the attacks on our country where I started to see the Democrat Party starting to blame America for us getting attacked. 9/11 was the turning point. In the wake of this tremendous tragedy, I was shocked and stunned and disgusted to see my own party, the Democrat Party, turn on America and say it was America's policies for the reason why we got attacked. They blamed America first. I was stunned, angry, and frankly heartbroken. How could they stand there and blame us, their own country, for these terrible attacks? That moment shattered everything that I knew. I began to question the very fabric of what I believed, and I knew that I couldn't stay there on the left any longer. Just as the Union forces stood firm on the right on Seminary Ridge, I found my own stand on the right side of the political spectrum. I moved toward conservatism, personal responsibility, and the defense of our great nation. I knew I had to stand with those who were committed to fighting for the freedoms that define America. This journey isn't just mine. It's a journey that we can all take when we're invited to understand what truly matters. Hey, 6 years ago, I was here at Gettysburg National Military Park, here at the Will Thompson's house, sharing with you my walkaway story. I'm going to recreate that for you today, and hopefully you will find it as educational as I did back when I did it 6 years ago, as this goes through my walk of leaving the Democrat Party and moving to the conservative side. So now we're at the Virginia Memorial featuring Robert E. Lee. This is on Seminary Ridge. This is on the left side of the battlefield. As you can imagine, the left side, we're going over to the right side a little bit later. But today, this symbolizes my walk over from the Democrat Party because it all started with 9/11, when the Democrat Party was essentially blaming America for the attacks. I was so upset by that. I was like, why is the Democrat Party blaming America for 9/11? And so that began my journey over to the conservative side because I wanted some assurance that we were going to try and do something to defeat our enemies and keep the homeland safe. Seminary Ridge, just like my political beliefs, began to crumble as the reality of the nature of the Democrat Party set in. Right behind me is the 20th Maine marker, right behind me here. This is a marker that symbolized a critical point in the Battle of Gettysburg where Lawrence Chamberlain of the 20th Maine was going against Oates of the 15th Alabama as they were coming up this slope here to overrun the Union flank, southern flank, on Little Round Top. Here, a big decision was made because Chamberlain at this point in time was out of ammo, and he had been fighting for about an hour and a half, and he didn't know what to do. So as the Confederates were coming up this slope, he decided to do a bayonet charge at that particular marker there. Is the bend in that particular bayonet charge. It swung down like a door, forcing the Confederates off the hill, saving the Union. Across the hill here, on the other side of Little Round Top, Paddy O'Rourke did a similar bayonet charge, but he lost his life on this hill. To secure this particular moment this particular real estate for this country to preserve this union. And so from a walkaway moment, this is a pivotal moment where I actually turned to the right, similar to the way Chamberlain did down the slope so long ago. And so everybody, leaving the Democrat Party was imperative for me because I wanted to be on the side that was going to do something for our country in terms of saving our liberties and doing the right thing when it comes to individuals. So here we are at the first Minnesota monument. This monument here is very special to me because it symbolizes great sacrifice. To give you a little story, General Hancock, who is the leader of the 2nd Corps, on the second day of the battle, July 2nd, 1863, had to make a decision. There was a huge swath of Confederates coming over this particular ridge. There was no one here to stop them. They could have overrun this area and overtaken the Union forces there in the center of this particular battlefield. So what did he do? He only had one regiment at his disposal, and that was the 1st Minnesota. Roughly 330 men were thrown into this battle to take the flags, to stall and delay, and in doing so, they lost 82% casualties. 215 men suffered here to patch the hole so that they could not take over this position. Huge sacrifice. And for myself and my walkaway journey, it's the same thing. I've lost friends, family, loved ones because they don't like necessarily what I'm doing. Supporting Trump, supporting conservatives, it doesn't matter. I had to make a decision for myself and my family and ultimately the country to do the right thing. And I call out to you guys as well to make a decision. Sometimes it's hard and difficult, but we have to make these calls. And so this monument here, the 1st Minnesota, reminds me of that. So here we are at our final stop at the National Cemetery at Gettysburg National Military Park. On November 19th, 1863, Abraham Lincoln gave his famous Gettysburg Address right behind this fence line. I'm not sure exactly where it was because he didn't keep track of that. But the point is, he wanted to make sure that in this Gettysburg Address that Americans understood the importance of the sacrifices that were made here on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 1863. And so why am I talking here about it? Is because this is the last stop on my walkaway video, and I want to encourage everyone to leave the Democrat Party. I don't care necessarily where you go, but the Democrat Party, for me particularly, lied to me. And they absolutely told me the wrong things about Black history, about America, about liberty, and they actually are a bunch of Marxists. But we're digressing. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want you to understand that the sacrifices that are made here are going to have to be made individually as well, because if you turn away from the Democrat Party and from liberalism and from communism, you're going to be, well, I'm sorry, you're going to be attacked for many, many, many different reasons. And so I just tell everybody, let's address the problems that we're having in this country where we don't have individual liberties and rights for everybody. And that's what I want everyone to walk away towards. The story of Gettysburg is one of resilience and sacrifice, where men stood their ground to ensure that liberty survived. I made the choice to walk away from the left, to stand on the right side of history, and to fight for the future of this country. But this isn't just about me, it's about all of us. The time to choose is now. Will you stand for freedom, for individual rights, and for the future of America? It's time to walk away.